Welcome once again to Bell to Bells, your women's wrestling wire. I am Mr. Warren Hayes. Thank you very much for joining us again today on our YouTube channel here on youtube.com/Bell to Bells, or on your favorite podcast application as well. Thank you very, very much for being here today. You know, in just a couple of days, Zelo Pro Wrestling is going to be making its return to live shows after a hiatus for all the reasons we know. We don't have to get into them. We know why, but they're coming back in a celebratory fashion. WrestleFest is going to be happening this Saturday, May 1st, if you're watching this, before. Otherwise, it's already passed, May 1st, 2021. But we're hoping that you're catching this before the event this weekend. A whole bunch of people and great things are going to be happening on that card, including having the chance to see a new up-and-comer on the indie scene. Someone you should be paying attention to, I'm telling you right now. And she will be at WrestleFest this weekend. She will be taking on the Queen Bee, Brooke Valentine. And I am thrilled to be joined by her right now. Charlie Kruel is with us today on Bell to Bells. Charlie, hello, and welcome to Bell to Bells.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you very much for taking time out to come and chat with us. It's fantastic. This is the first time we get to talk to each other, right? Like I said, you're fairly new on the scene. You started, I think, as a pro in 2018. I mean, since it's, there's a part of let's get to know you kind of thing. Tell us about how you got into wrestling. What made you feel like taking on this, the Sport of Kings, as it's called?
Well, I'm hoping to change the Sport of Kings to the Sport of Queens.
Great answer.
No, but when I was younger, I would always, me and my brothers would always pretend to be like a different wrestler. When I first, when they were into it before I was ever into it. So they would wrestle around the house and pretend like they were different wrestlers. I think my brother was Edge once, and my other brother was Triple H or somebody like that.
Right.
And I would always watch them or be the ref. And I didn't know what I was doing because I was literally early elementary age. So I was, I wasn't really I knew they had wrestlers and I knew they liked wrestling and they would watch it, but I wasn't really connected then. I was just young and I was really into Bratz and Barbie dolls and Disney and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I started watching it with them and started slowly developing this love and this passion for wrestling ever since I was a kid.
Right.
It was 11 years old when I realized I want to become a professional wrestler one day. And that's kind of a huge dream and goal to have as a child. Because a lot of times children will be like when I was younger, before I introduced myself to wrestling, I wanted to be a singer, a professional singer.
Okay.
Like Ariana Grande, for example, or something like that. A huge celebrity singer like that.
Can you sing?
And of course, I'm okay, but okay. I'm not the best. I'm not Ariana Grande level.
Okay, gotcha. So it's not like me, who's I want to be an ice hockey player, but I can't skate, kind of thing. It's nothing like that. Okay.
Yeah, and then I wanted to be an actress, and I still do, but wrestling comes first right now. So hopefully my acting career can slowly take off eventually. I'm trying to fix things with that, but anyways, so wrestling became my whole life at 11 years old, and it's where I got Coda. No.
Coda is her dog. I was introduced to her dog before we came on the air. Coda. Just in case, but wait, Coda? No, Coda the dog. That's the Coda we're talking about.
His name's Coda Puppy, so he is named off of Kota Ibushi.
Coda Puppy. That's fantastic, and he's a beautiful dog.
Yes,
and he's a good boy when he's not being a bad boy. Apparently,
when he's not being bad, he's a little bit bad right now, but it's probably because he knows I'm on a podcast. He wants me to give him attention.
Oh, of course. Aren't they all like that? So who were some of your early influences then? Like when you were watching wrestling, and was there anyone that you were watching on TV on WWE that you were like, I want to be like this person?
Um, yes. Sorry, it took me a second. Like I know this answer completely because I say it all the time, and I'm always so open to talk about it. Is AJ Lee,
Right.
and I'll explain why. Because when I first started watching wrestling, of course, she wasn't really big in WWE then, but it wasn't until like 2013 era when she won the Divas title against Caitlyn
Mm-hmm.
again. A payback was when I grew more passion and more fire and more desire. Fire and desire, that's cute. Um, More fire, desire, all of that. Um, to really go after the same dream that AJ Lee
Sure.
has or had or once had or whatever. And because her passion and she definitely like showed her hard work and everything she's built has been for that one match and that one moment. And I was like, I've always wanted to be like AJ. As a person and as a wrestler. There's a
Right.
lot of things like AJ does that I'll do a little bit in the ring. Of course, I like to be my own person, so
Of
I've
course.
developed my own character, my own persona. But there's still things that she does that I would, do a little bit. Like there's a splash neck breaker move I do. I do it because she's done it before, where you splash him in the corner, you pull him out for a neck breaker. I do that because of her. I'll do the Black Widow, a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, some
There's
signature
stuff that
stuff.
she's done that yeah, that like I took off of because she's inspired me so much that she's who I look up to.
Sure.
So she's that person. I've never got to meet her. I think there's one time when her book came out, she's gonna do a book tour. She's gonna be in Chicago, and my mom ended up telling me I can't go because we
Mm.
didn't have the money, and I was in tears because it's really rare to be able to have that moment.
That one-on-one, yeah.
Yeah, it's really rare because my mom was like, you'll get her next time, and she hasn't done a meet and greet since. So, bottom line is, like that's why I felt like my chance was completely up right there. Like I'll never be able to meet her, but there's still a chance, like possibility I could run into her one day. And sorry, my dog, stop, back up, go
Come
play.
on, Coda.
Yeah, he's a brat. He's being a brat. But yeah, I mean, there'll be a moment, and when I get that moment, I'm gonna tell her everything, everything. We kind of started off the same, where we both just want to be different, and we're not part of cliques, and we're not part of the cool kids club and wrestling and stuff. We're ourselves, and we're real. Not real like that, but like we'll speak our mind, and sometimes that gets us in trouble because like
Sure.
when AJ spoke her mind in 2013 against Total Divas. I don't know if anybody remembers that promo, but I definitely do. I think I remember it from word to word because that's my favorite promo I've ever seen. And she got in trouble, not in trouble by production or anybody like Vince or anything, but the Total Divas were mad
Sure.
at her. But she spoke her mind, and to this day, like it's still one of the most important, biggest, and best promos I think any woman has really had in WWE in this generation at least, and that generation especially.
Sure.
So bottom line is, so me and AJ are just a lot alike in those certain ways, and she's somebody I've always looked up to.
Well, I think it's a good comparison right there, and yeah, I mean that promo was it was defining for her. So I guess we get a good feeling for you straight off the bat if you identify so closely with her. That's fantastic. Look at Coda now. Coda's being a good boy. Look at that up
Yeah.
there sharing the spotlight with you. What a ham. So when did you start training to become a pro wrestler then?
I think The exact date was, let me see. I graduated high school in May of 2017, like late May 2017, and literally I took a break right after I got graduated because I'm just freshly graduated, wanted to collect all my thoughts.
Sure.
At least a week or two after I started training, about June of 2017. And
Where did you train? Out the
Jeffersonville Arena in Jeffersonville, Indiana. I was
Okay.
originally trained by Rudy Switchblade and Rudo Raul Lamada.
Sure.
Too Tough Tony owns the building, so his name is also on Grindhouse Pro Wrestling, is what the academy is called. Still trained with Grindhouse. There are different trainers now. My original trainers do not train anymore, but I started off with them. But I still train with Grindhouse, and I help a lot of the newer students there as well,
Nice.
along with Billy. Billy Starks also helps them as well. So there's newer students there that that I get to help as well, because I'm the more experienced one there, is along with like Billy and ZDP. Zach Pittman still goes there sometimes. Freddie Hudson still goes there sometimes. But it's more like me and Billy a lot of times too. So there's a lot of newer people, and we help. There's a blind student who's learning to wrestle.
Really?
Yes, his name's Darren. Uh, Darren, he's fully blind, like cannot see at all. So there's some things that he cannot do, but it's also like I'm still learning myself, like you never stop learning. So when I wrestle him, I learn how to do things differently, to where
Sure.
like I can do stuff like when we go for a lockup, I have to make some kind of noise like this, or like a stomp, or even to let him know that I'm coming in for the lockup.
Sure.
So there's things that like I can learn myself, still being, now 3 years in the business. There's still so much that I get to learn. And that's one of them, and there's also a deaf guy that also now trains with us as well. So we have a blind guy, we have a deaf guy. And it's different because the blind guy cannot see.
Mm-hmm.
Darren cannot see, but he can listen. And so he's really good at listening. I'll tell him, fight back, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The deaf guy, he, cannot hear. So, like, I can't talk to him. I can't tell him what's coming next. I have to give him the Iggies, and he reads lips very
Okay.
well. So I learn myself. So I'm learning how to work with a blind guy, and I also learn how to work with a deaf guy. So I'm still learning myself, and I get to learn to control a match instead of being led like I was when I started.
Sure, of
So
course. Yeah.
still learning myself, but yes, Grindhouse Pro Wrestling still runs to this day. If anybody who's listening to this is wanting to become a professional wrestler,
There you go.
Grindhouse is the place to go.
There you go. So there's a good plug right there for your stomping grounds. That's fantastic. And you've wrestled quite a bit already, like in your like we said, right? Your official, like you started in 2018, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan. I mean, look, you're doing the travel thing. You're racking up a lot of experience. Who are a couple of people that like some memorable people that you're like, man, I really liked. This was a match that was really good against this person, because you also do intergender wrestling as well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just stick to the women. Who are a couple of people that you were like, man, these are some really good opponents that I really enjoyed?
Yes. I already have some on top of my head. I've had 2 matches with her so far. I would love to have more, but Kenzie Paige Henry, we always had really good matches together. I had a good match with Sky Blue.
Okay.
I've had a good match with Queen Amanada.
Really?
These are people that I would love to have a match again against. I've wrestled Queen Amanada, I think, twice. Sky Blue, I've wrestled once. I've had good matches with Dream Girl Ellie. Of course, I've had good matches with Billy because, like, we've trained. Like, I was one of the first people that she's trained with. So we've trained so long together that we just know,
Yeah.
what to do. So, like, it's really hard to have a bad match together because, I mean, when we first started having matches together, yeah, they weren't as good because we're both learning and we're both new to each other at that point. But now, so far into our careers, um, we can definitely pull off some really good matches. Alice Crowley is another
Sure.
who I have really good matches with. Ronnie Nicole, Mickey Knuckles. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
you've got quite the rogues gallery already. There's a lot of great. No, there's a lot of
Yeah.
great people in there. Absolutely. Uh,
Yeah.
and I mean that equates to a whole bunch. I mean, this is all due to a whole bunch of opportunities that are opening up again. 2020 was a dry spell for everyone. Of course, it was a little tougher, but like even in 2019, or at least between 2019 and 2020, I think you had like half as many matches in 2020 than you had in 2019. Now things are opening up again. Promotions are running more matches, so you have more opportunities. On the independent circuit, and there's some television broadcast as well that create opportunities for indie wrestlers as well. Like I'd like you to tell me, unless I punch my microphone another time, I'd like you to tell me how do you feel about the state of the independents right now as far as opportunities to wrestle, opponents. How do you feel about it right now?
I honestly think it's the biggest it has ever been. The indie wrestling has definitely been the biggest it's ever been, and it's going to get bigger. Obviously, now you see back when WWE would release people, a lot of people just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't try to go anywhere else because they felt like, what else can they do?
Yeah,
like
there was
WWE,
nowhere else.
Yeah. And now there's AEW. Impact Wrestling is picking up more and doing way better. There's Ring of Honor. There's so many good independent promotions out there. Paradigm Pro Wrestling, Black Label Pro, Unsanctioned Pro. Oh my gosh, there's so many. MLW is one.
Sure.
There's so many promotions out there now that, like, if you got released by WWE, it's like that's not your end of the road. That's end of the road. Like that's a start to something new. Because before it was like you got released, people just stopped and they felt like, oh, it's the end of the line for me. Like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, and to me, like when I was younger, I said when I go to WWE one day, which is still like my dream goal, is to go to WWE. I know other people have their own opinions,
Sure.
but that's still my goal. NXT,
Sure.
WWE, that's where I want to be one day, and I'm not going to stop giving up on that. But when I was younger, I was like, if I got released by WWE one day, I'm not going to wrestle again. I'm done. And now looking at it, let's say I went with NXT, WWE, whatever, and I ended up getting released because they ended up not needing me for something, or they just don't have the budget anymore, or whatever the cause is. I know I'm going to be okay because I'm like, I got AEW. I got so many, like, promotions in the world that just want me. Shows in Japan, it's like, it's not the end of the road. It's the start. So, that's something to hold on to, something to think about.
And your road is going quite well. If right now, if I'm not mistaken, you are the current Asylum Wrestling Revolution's women's champion, if I'm not mistaken. So that's already a notch in your belt, and you've recently participated in some tapings for Ohio Valley Wrestling. Do you want to tell me how that came about? How you got into OVW?
Well, Amazing Maria, she does the booking, I guess I should say, for the women of OVW. And get your tail out of my face.
He's going into business for himself. That's all he wants. That's what he's doing.
He's
Coda,
rude.
we see you.
Yes, and I always wanted to wrestle for OVW. I know everybody has their own opinions, whatever, but I myself have always wanted to wrestle for OVW because if I want to work for TV one day, like AEW, WWE, whatever the cause is, Impact, whatever, OVW is the best place to go to learn how to work the camera properly.
Sure.
And so I got hit up once to come in and work with Hollywood Haley J, Maria's daughter, and OVW Women's Champion. They said, but it's going to be like a quick match. You're not going to be able to get much in. And I was like, I'm completely okay. And like, I told them, I said, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm in that ring and I get to be myself and my character and what I was born to do, I'm happy. So I was like, no matter what you have me do, I'm just so thankful that you guys are bringing me in and you're giving me a platform and a spotlight to be able to show myself. So I was there and it went good. Fans love me. I came back against Ari Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
And then just Tuesday, I was there, which has not aired yet. I think it's airing tonight. But Tuesday, I was there against Haley J again. And it's a great place to go if you want to learn how to work the camera properly, do character development, stuff that like WWE would love to use for people, stuff Impact would love to use for people, AEW, all of that. So
you're getting your production reps in, like exactly
yeah.
how to work in the studio, and that's fantastic. That's really cool. And what else is really cool is that I think this is your first time wrestling in Zelo Pro this Saturday. It'll be the first time you'll be there. Like I mentioned, you'll be facing Brooke Valentine, the Queen Bee, Thicky Steamboat. Interesting clash of styles that you two are going to have in this match. How are you prepping to fight Ms. Valentine?
Ooh, whole lot of gym time. No. So 2 years ago, we met in the ring. And we met actually for the first time too, for a Chicago promotion that isn't running at the moment. I don't know if they're going to start it back up again, but it's really because of COVID. I think they're just waiting for things to get better. So who knows? But it's called Kaiju Attack Wrestling. I went
with
there.
the costumes.
Huh?
With the costumes?
Yes.
Yes.
But
Okay.
This was before. Yeah, this was before they did the costume thing.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but it's the same promotion.
Because you did a match as Freddy Krueger, right?
Yeah.
For them.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, cool.
Yes. 2 years ago, I wrestled Brooke, and she's another one that I say, like, I love having a match with her. Like, it was the only time I ever did, but I thought the match was really good, and I actually, let me see, that I did that match, I think I did that match in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, and I think that was my favorite match of 2019 at the time. And it's been 2 years now. We've grown so much as competitors that I'm ready. I'm so excited to just get in there and see what we can do. And I know we're going to tear the house down. I just know it. Like, I feel it in my bones and my heart. I know we're going to tear the house down. And we're going to be, I want to be one of the biggest matches on the card that night. So it's gonna be great. I'm super, super, super excited. It's so funny because like for I think 2 years, I've hit up Zelo Pro on email. I would not leave them alone. I would constantly email them my stuff, and this is the first promotion that I would like bug the piss out of. That finally was like, you know what, we're gonna give this kid a shot. So they're finally giving me a shot, and I'm taking the ball and I'm running with it. I'm taking it home. I'm definitely excited. I'm ready to get out there and just I'm prepared. I'm getting more prepared. I'm actually taking a bus to Chicago and meeting up with a friend, and we're going to head to Zelo, and it's going to be a great time. I'm super excited to get in there again with Brooke. It's been 2 years, so it's been a while.
Wow.
And I know we've grown so much, and it's going to be so good. I'm just super, super excited. I can't control my excitement. I'm super excited.
Well, it's gonna be a great evening. There's so much stuff going on there, and it's exciting that you're there. I was talking with Matt, a couple of weeks ago. We did the card reveal, and he was joking, but at the same time, I know he was being there was a part of truth to what he was saying, where he said, well, if the wrestlers impress me, I put them on my cards, I put them on my shows. So that's it's all on you at this point, Charlie. If you got on the card, no pressure though.
No pressure.
I want to thank you again for joining me, Charlie. This was a really good talk. Before we wrap it up, like if 2021 goes your way and everything is like hunky dory. What's your big goal for the year? What would be the thing where we'd wrap up, we'd get to December 31st and you'd be like, this year is perfect because this thing happened?
Oh my gosh.
Bit of a hot seat question. I know. I
It
mean,
is.
clearly Coda, for him, a good year will be just getting maximum attention. That, for him, that's clearly,
He
that's all
gets
he wants.
enough. We'll take him to shows and he gets nothing but love.
Oh, for sure. He's adorable.
Um,
What are you talking about? Of course, people
yes.
are going to be all over him.
So I guess to answer that question, really my goal all overall 2021 is just to improve more and
That's fair.
constantly get in there and show out and like have banger matches that like 3 years ago when I started would not believe I could do, because like when I started, like I had a rocky first year. It was not fun. I wanted to quit so many times. I'm so glad that I didn't. That my passion, my dedication has kept me going, because now look at me, like, you know, I'm here and I'm a newer character to the indie scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not that character I was before with the red hair. I'm not that anymore. I'm something different. With the purple hair and, you know, the ditzy. I'm very playful. I'm a playful maniac. And I'm just, you know, 2021, I think I can look back and be like, you know what, I did this. You know, I started a following for myself, and I started people getting behind me and just getting better and better and better.
I mean, I think improvement and just wanting to become better and whatever. I think that's a very noble goal. I think that's fantastic.
I guess this is more 2022, but
sure. Let's look ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was my goal for 2021, but I sadly got COVID and I had to cancel, which was Mania week. I wasn't on any shows, but I was going to go there to see what I can do and help out and get my name more out there. So hoping for 2022 is to get on a Mania week, no matter if it's 1 shows or 2 shows or how many shows. Like, I want to make my presence be known.
There you go. Well, that's fantastic, and I hope it does happen. And if all of you are watching this right now, you have to keep an eye on Charlie. Hey, why don't you keep an eye on her this weekend on May 1st, this Saturday, WrestleFest Zelo Pro. If you're in the Milwaukee area, it's at the Turner Hall Ballroom. If you're not, Fight TV. You'll be able to watch it live. Watch her take on the Queen Bee, Thicky Steamboat, Brooke Valentine. I don't know what to call her anymore, but she's got all the names. But she'll be taking on Brooke Valentine this weekend, and then on top of that, six-man ladder match to crown the very first Zelo Pro champion, and Zelo Pro Women's Champion Lainey Luck is going to be defending her title against Jordan Gray. So you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss Charlie. Charlie, thank you again so much for taking the time to join us here today on Bell to Bells. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Say bye, Coda.
And Coda, he says, "Oh, the interview's over. I'm asleep now." That's what he's saying. Typical.
Typical worker.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you very much, Charlie, and thank you everyone for joining us here on Bell to Bells. If you're watching this on YouTube, do give the video a thumbs up. Oh, look, you know how all that stuff works. Subscribe and all that. You don't need me to run you through it. But thank you all again. Be sure to come back another time. We've got more stuff coming up.
Absolutely. Bye.